Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Wednesday night, WDW Radio Live. I am your host. I'm your friend, Lou Mongello. If you're watching live, thank you for being here. Sit back, relax, grab a snack. Of course, put on your comfy sweats and tag and invite a friend. And if you're watching live if you're watching not live, but on the replay, be sure and join us every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The countdown has begun. It's been going on for a while. The countdown to Christmas. And by the way, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy Festivus, happy holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate, it doesn't really matter. The spirit of the season is in us all, no matter what it is that you celebrate or what it is that you call it. And the spirit of the season means scrambling to try and find a PS5 for your children. Beyond that, there's lots of other good stuff going on. This, for me, is the best part of the holiday season because I get to spend my night with you. There were plans to be somewhere else other than here. I will touch on it as we get to our top 5 live in a little later on. I'm both happy and sad because it's something that oh, come on, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sad because every year I love to take you to Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort on a little holiday golf cart tour, so to speak, of the campsites and the decorations, much as we did for Halloween, but recent changes to the policies at Fort Wilderness as they currently sit are that you need to be actually staying at Fort Wilderness in order to rent a golf cart. I was in no condition to try and pitch a tent or rent a cabin for tonight, but I'll see. If there's some other way I can bring it to you before the holidays are over, I will certainly try and do so, but that's fine. We're going to have fun tonight anyway. We're going to talk about this week's show and some of our favorite celebrity appearances, celebrity cameos in the different attractions, and we will also talk about the holidays at Walt Disney World. Danielle says, let's see the Spidey shirt. So this is my, it is my combo. Hey everyone. One of the greatest moments in Marvel Cinematic Universe history, Danielle, because it was the introduction of the one and only Tom Holland, who is the one and only Spider-Man. Although I have a feeling come Spider-Man 3, we might get a little Tobey Maguire and God help us and save us Andrew Garfield, but we'll see. That's another topic for another night as we start to talk about what 2021 and going forward is going to bring us on Disney Plus. If we ever get back to movie theaters, what that's going to look like in the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars universes. There's a lot to take in there, which is why I'm not talking about it tonight. What I do want to talk about first, before we get into the top 5 live and our Disney Plus pick of the week, I hope you all did your homework, and your homework obviously was Muppet Christmas Carol. If you didn't do it, you got about 15 minutes to quickly squeeze that in or read the Cliff Notes. It's Christmas Carol, but Muppets. Somebody really awesome must have gotten me that shirt. Solid 4. Anyway, so I don't have my graphic up. It doesn't really matter. This week's show, if you haven't heard it yet, shows 613 episodes, not including the old podcast and the newscast that I threw in there. It's nuts. But this week was all about celebrity appearances, celebrity cameos in Walt Disney World attractions and shows. And I want to know from you, even if you didn't listen to the show, do you have a favorite celebrity cameo in an attraction? And if so, why? Why is it Eric Idle in Figment? Why was it Mel Brooks in the very short-lived and oh so incredibly obscure 5-minute live-action animated feature that showed at the Town Square Exhibition Hall? What is your favorite celebrity cameo and why? Did I miss you mention Tim Conway when I talked about... So Victoria, is Tim Conway in Ellen's Energy Adventure? Is Tim Conway in Ellen's Energy Adventure? Is Tim Conway? I don't know. Is Tim Conway in Ellen's Energy Adventure? If so, tell me where and yet. I might have missed it. Mark did his homework, watched Muppet Christmas Carol today. There was a Derek Pellerin. That is my favorite quote from the entire incredibly funny and Tiny Tim, who did not die. I'm going to watch it again. I need to watch that again. I need to watch Scrooged again. And if you're an Amazon Prime holder, Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas needs to be on your Christmas movie watch list. So, Carol Bleeker, hope you are doing well. God, I haven't talked to you in so long. Watching Muppet Christmas Carol right now. Alex Trebek, may you rest in peace in Ellen's. Chauncey friend Mark Hamill on The Muppet Show. I remember seeing Mark Hamill on Muppet Show. I also remember seeing Mark Hamill in the Star Wars Holiday Special, but we try not to think about that. Victoria, Tim Conway is not. I think it's confusing Tim Conway when he played. He was the doctor or the scientist on the Carol Burnett Show. It looks a lot like Einstein, but it is not Einstein in Ellen's Energy Adventure. Fortunately, my geekiness has been restored. Mark says Emmett Otter is one of my favorites. Emmett Otter, I haven't seen Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas since I was a kid. I have a feeling it's going to touch me in all the feels, which is why I watch these things alone on my couch in sweats under my big, cozy, comfy blanket. Literally, like, my favorite place on the planet is my little corner of my couch, but that's more information than you need at this time. Carlos Eduardo Silva, good to see you. Joe says, Emmett Otter is the most depressing Christmas special. The hole in the wash tub, and they get paid in mashed potatoes. It's it's a redemption story, really. The kitty is my favorite. WDW. Is there a cat in here? Oh, there is a cat in here. Wait a minute. I didn't even realize. Hello, cat. What are you doing here? How did you sneak in here and now you want to leave? Well, there you go. I didn't even know you were in here. Well, you're stuck in here now because I can't open up the door. Let's see. Let's see. Brian loves. Okay, we're getting a lot of. I need another Tim Foster, Patrick Warburton, Soren impression. Kyle, you do not. Nobody needs Tim doing impressions of anybody ever again. Mel Blanc in Carousel of Progress. Bill, that is a true cameo, right? And I think I sort of should have specified that it's not just cameos with these small little guest appearances, but really celebrity appearances in Walt Disney World attractions. Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All says Felicia Rashad, also known as Mrs. Ahmad Rashad of Kansas City Chief fame from the NFL. Putty should be in every attraction. That's a lot of putty, Dan Mulca. That you almost don't want to have too much putty. You sprinkle in him there enough. I was wondering if I thought about it afterwards that I never realized just how much Seinfeld there was going to be in my discussion of celebrities in Walt Disney World, because while there's only really two characters from Seinfeld. Sorry, Kat, you're stuck here now. While there's only two characters there, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was sort of that common thread that was woven through a lot of the conversation. There should be not a drinking game, kids, because I don't want to, but there should almost be a little tote board to see how many times Julia Louis-Dreyfus's name was mentioned. Am I going crazy, or is Emmett Otter also in Zootopia? I have no idea. Tacey Atkinson, I would have had my card revoked, whatever card that might be, if I did not mention Robin Williams as the timekeeper. I think it is one of the most iconic celebrity appearances. And as I said on the show, I think Timekeeper was not as good as it was without Robin Williams. I can't imagine anybody else performing that role in the way that he did. Cat, don't worry, stay here. Come here. Psst, come here. Have some iced tea. Shouldn't Thor have a cameo? Becky, why you got to make it weird? Why got to make it weird? And he can't because of the whole Universal licensing thing, which, by the way, I don't want to say that I predict it's going away, but I predict it's going away. Like, I even have I almost have a 2021 is going to be a very interesting year. That's all I'm going to say. My buddy Caleb Joshua Hill says Martin Short in O Canada. Martin Short too. A lot more appearances than you might remember. And again, if you have not seen The Making of Me, and if you're trying to avoid that awkward conversation with your kids, just fire that bad boy up and let them take notes and figure it out. Martin Short can do all the heavy lifting for you, much as he did in Three Amigos. Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Family Christmas, which I believe Muppet Family Christmas is on. Is it on Disney Plus or is it on? I think I saw it somewhere else. Mark, I've seen the outtakes from Emmett Otter on YouTube, and it's interesting when you see the real world humans step into frame, just how the forced perspective and how the size of the sets really becomes much more pronounced. Cat, you're stuck here, man. Sorry. The cat will get out as soon as some Spidey things get knocked off the shelves. That's true. That's true. Fly Guy is David Donapur. So I'll tell you, the first time I saw the queue for Flight of Passage, as amazed as I was, I didn't know. I have no idea. I've never seen him in anything else, so I didn't know who that was. And I'm like, he looks like he might have had a cocktail or 6 before he recorded this, which I assume was meant to be. That was, a choice in terms of his performance. You can't call a cat loose, as Jeff C. from Manly Pinterest Tips. You don't need to be a man to enjoy Manly Pinterest Tips, by the way. Let the poor cat out. Kenan, we have not gotten to the top 5 yet. We're talking about this week's podcasts from the celebrity cameos and celebrity appearances. Our first event back will be a Thor meet and greet. Remember? Do you remember? Oh, first of all, do you remember D23 Expo's period? Remember the D23 Expo when I tried on the Thor costume, which was way too snug, but incredibly muscular-y. I wish I could have taken that home because I really like what it did for my V-shape physique. Jennifer Hoffman, nice to see you. Stuart Sternberg, always good to see you. Beth, this is Aladdin, and Jasmine is roaming around somewhere else outside. That's what you get for sneaking into my room, yo. You're stuck here now. If someone says Christmas is coming, I automatically say the goose is getting fat. Hey, the cat's name is not Toonces. So David Dossie, I do know that The Stand is coming to CBS All Access tomorrow. I might treat myself to a Christmas gift of a 1-month subscription just so I can see The Stand. It is my all-time favorite book. I have to say the Bible first, even though I haven't read the entire thing. But in terms of fiction, how about this? In terms of fiction, The Stand is my favorite book. I've read the book 2 or 3 times, and I've seen the made-for-TV movie with Gary Sinise from Mission Space fame and Molly Ringwald, etc., more times than I can count. So I know the new one has Whoopi Goldberg, I believe, as Mother Abigail. James DeZern, good to see you. The Guardians Holiday Special in 2002. Well, we know it's going to be something funny, but are they? Well, whatever. Because I was expecting the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special to pay a little bit more homage to the Star Wars one, but I think I'm probably happier that it didn't. Heather D. Richards, I want to almost make this, I want to make this even bigger. Firefly coming to Disney Plus. I don't know. I think Firefly, it's on Hulu, which is probably where it should remain. What I would love to see is a Firefly reboot. Like, let's do it again. Let's get Joss Whedon back on the helm. Give him the platform. Give him the money. Give him the backing to make that show the way I know he really... Not that I know Joss Whedon, but... Vanessa Prince, nice to see you in snowy Ohio. For all of you in the Northeast that are getting pummeled or about to get pummeled, I am there with you. I am virtually there with you in my sweatpants. We're cuddling. We got Doritos on the couch. Maybe a little hot chocolate, a hot toddy, a hot fireball, whatever it might be. But stay inside and stay safe. Cat, psst, come here. Come here. Come on. Come up here. I can't let you out. Because I remember that if I can, people can see that I'm, well, whatever. Love the Star Wars Holiday Special. Jason wants Lost on Disney Plus. I think that too, Jason, is going to remain on Hulu. Again, I just finished my 6th watching of it, my 5th rewatch of it. And then I was talking to somebody about it the other day. I'm like, I need to pull up that first episode again. And next thing I know, I watched the first 3 episodes again. I'm afraid I cannot go down that rabbit hole for a 7th time. Because I only watch TV really sort of late at night before I fall asleep. And I just don't. I have to catch up on things that I've never actually really seen. So my mom needs to catch her flight here for the holidays tomorrow, so the snow needs to stop. I think she'll be fine. Just make sure she brings matzo ball soup and potato latkes. Like, stop here, drop them off, and then she can go do whatever she wants. Antoinette Williams, hello from Lakeland, Florida. It is nice to see you. And Mark Jones, I do have to go back. And I know there's been talk of a Lost sequel, a Lost reboot, a new sort of visit to the island. Supposedly, Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse, I've seen them multiple times say no, like they've told the story that they want to tell, but ABC owns the rights. ABC/Disney owns the rights. I would not be surprised if they don't revisit it. Just because it's not even a cult favorite. It's just such a huge fan favorite. I think the best television that's ever been produced, certainly from a dramatic point of view. So every year I'm like, I'm going to do a Lost podcast. Like, I'm going to do like a Lost rewatch podcast where each week we'll watch Lost together and then I will comment about it on a podcast. But alas, I only have so much time, and there's another podcast, whatever. Focus, Mongello, focus. Part of the mantra for 2021. Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. So a Lost sequel called Found won't be very excited. Maybe we could revisit the story of Walt, not Disney, but Walt in terms of, what made Walt so very special. Walt would be hard to reboot, and I don't think, Mark, it should be rebooted. I think if you want to tell another story of the island or a prequel story, maybe fill in some of those gaps, answer some of those questions that I think were very intentionally left unanswered, that might satisfy some people. But whenever I think you do try and answer those types of questions, much as they did with the finale, you inevitably leave people disappointed. So letting us try and fill in the gaps about the 4-toed statue, what made Walt special, who was firing from the outrigger canoe at the Lost Seas right before the flashback, leaving those open-ended, I think was absolutely intentional, because all these years later, we're still talking about Lost, and we're still sort of, digging down into the... Listen, I kid you not, I literally have like a little Lost artifact book nearby when I sort of need to take like a little mental break for something. So Lost with Lou is a real-time commentary where we can listen to you watching Lost. I don't know if anybody would actually want to tune into that. That would just lead to incredible disappointment, because like, who wants to just listen to Lou comment on a show? So Gail, nice to see you. Anyone from Lost ever do a cameo? Anybody from Lost ever do in Disney? So not that I can think of off the top of my head. I would love to see Terry O'Quinn in a Disney attraction. Like, bring all the... There were actually... So, quick... All right, so here's the last thing. Quick Lost tie-in. When Discovery Island closed many, many years ago, there were a lot of different rumors and some plans in terms of what to do with the island. At one point, they were going to convert it to this interactive adventure based on the video game Myst. Fellow nerds who remember that computer PC-based game from, yikes, 80s, 90s, 92, somewhere around there. There were thoughts about making a Myst island, and it would be this ticketed interactive adventure. That was abandoned for a variety of reasons. And then there were talks at one point about creating something based on Lost. I don't know that that would necessarily fit into Walt Disney World. It's a very sort of specific type of thing in terms of interest. But I would have been first one online and the first one on the island. So Myst just came out on the Oculus Quest. Jeff C., pack up your Oculus, grab your Myst, and get on a plane and get down here. I will take you for some sweet sushi, and we will check out Myst on that, because I would totally dig checking that out. So I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but Sawyer needs to be on a Disney attraction. He actually did. Sawyer was in Colony with, gosh, I forget the actress's name, who was Rick's wife from Walking Dead before she was. Spoiler alert! It was like season 3. It doesn't really matter. Mist on the Oculus is great. Even Becky spent a lot of time playing that. You sure it was Mist? It was like not Oregon Trail, Lemmings, Alone in the Dark. This is not. It's not on the list. For years, I have thought about doing like a retro pop culture podcast or some sort of content about like the 70s, like growing up in like the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, sort of locking into that time and the toys, collectibles, the TV shows, the restaurants, Ground Round, Where Are You? Free popcorn and peanuts. Just kids paid what they weighed. I kid you not. But 1, bandwidth. 2, would anybody even listen? And 3, bandwidth. Chauncey friend, I have played Vader Immortal on my son's Oculus, and very, very well done game. Like, kept me engaged for a while. Miss Doom, Leisure Suit Larry, probably not the most Disney appropriate game. Jeff C says, do the retro. Of course, it's easy to say do the retro podcast because I have to do all the work. It would be fun, but again, bandwidth is key because there's a couple other things that are on that list that I would love, love, love to get done before that. But there could be some cool sponsorship. Maybe I will do that. I don't know. Maybe I will. Talk about like stuff from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Whatever. I'll put it on the board and see how far up and down. Melanie Jones, by the way, welcome home. If you need any help, let me know. And you remember Ground Round, the good old days of Ground Round. Remember they used to have the movies playing? They had like the screen playing and they had the pop. You went get up and get your own like popcorn and there were peanut shells all over the floor. Levi says, show us what you are pointing to. I can't, because on the wall in front of me is a literal whiteboard where I have a number of different concepts, blue sky ideas, projects I'm working on, all of which I have not talked about. And I know, too, that Becky would love to see them. And just on principle and for giggles alone, I can't show anything that's on there. So that remains a secret. So, Becky, I, too, love first-person shooters. And not to go off on the video game tangent, but if you have ever played... So, Castle Wolfenstein was sort of what I grew up with. Doom. Oh, God, it begins with an H. It was I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank against the others. Was like Duke Nukem 3D, the Far Cry series. If you are a PlayStation gamer, Far Cry is an incredible series. So is BioShock. BioShock is another really good one as well. Kitty, I can't get up. You gotta come here. Come on, come be part of the show. Duke Nukem. I'm Fred Abley. I'm still waiting for Duke Nukem Forever 16 years later or whatever it is. Are any of those whiteboard ideas about February? You mean that February? No, that's actually the wrong one. February 6th is the save the date, by the way. Kitty, I can't. I just can't do it. February 6th is the save the date. Don't ask me why, because I'm not going to tell you, because I can't. But I will tell you to save the date for February 6th. I will have more information about that coming up maybe sooner rather than later. You never know. I might actually slip, too, and say exactly what it is. William has a Commodore 64 sitting right over here. William, I still have my Atari 2600 in my garage with all of my games. No, I don't have E.T. I have a ColecoVision and an Intellivision game in there, but I don't have the consoles anymore. And I also wish I still had Vectrex, my old Vectrex. I remember getting a Shirley Temple at Ground Round as a little kid. I was thinking it was a fancy drink. It still is it's a Shirley Temple, or you get a Roy Rogers, like if you didn't want to order something at a Shirley Temple. But I was a Shirley Temple kind of guy, too. Kitty, what? Come here. There's food under my desk. I mean, you can't have any, but there's food under my desk. Carlos has his ET game. You have one of the very few that was not buried in the desert. So planning call on the mystery date, possibly Thursday or Friday or early next week, Becky Menken. So in television with the speech pack, remember getting blisters on your thumb from trying to operate the disc? Right? It didn't have a joystick. It had a disc, although you could also buy a third-party aftermarket that you could stick on there and use it as a joystick. Now I want to do the retro podcast. Now I want to do that sort of 60s, 70s, 80s lock-in type of thing. I got to figure out the logistics of it. And then who potentially sponsors a retro podcast like that? We'll figure it out. Carlos, more of a Defender guy. And then there was the Defender 2084, right? Remember Robotron? God, listen, I'm going way off. I want to do a relatively short show tonight. You distract me like a bag of Doritos, or among other things, put it on the whiteboard. I need a retro boombox. Listen, I'm trying to get rid of stuff, Chauncey. And stay tuned, by the way. There are changes coming. Changes are afoot for 2021. That's all I'm going to say. I used to tape cotton balls to my thumbs to play Super... I thought you were going to say whatever. Remember playing Pac-Man? I literally remember, this is my promise, the last thing. So I was a big pinball guy as a kid. I remember the very first time I saw Space Invaders in an arcade. It was at the Route 1 flea market in New Brunswick, New Jersey, where my parents had an antique stand. Yes, they were entrepreneurs their entire life too. And I was like, what is this magical box? And it was in the corner, like by the little food court area, and the guy that sold nothing but pickles out of the pickle jar. And I was blown away from like the first time that I saw it. Again, Kitty, stop it. Come here. What? Where are you going? There's nothing out there that's more exciting than... Come on, we're going to get to... There you go. Come on over. We're going to get to come up here. Come on, we're going to get to some fun stuff. Look, even the kitty wants me to go on to... he wants me to get off... I do remember Shrinky Dinks. I loved Shrinky Dinks, although I needed my mom's permission to use the oven because she was afraid I was going to burn the place down. But, Carlos, we had a Galaga, a Centipede, a Superman pinball machine, and a Gottlieb flying carpet pinball machine in our basement. Jeff C. says, I play pinball on the Oculus Quest. It's so addicting. It's like being able to go play live. Although they just opened up a new like arcade indoor Fiesta Fun Center like place in Orlando on iDrive. I think after the holiday madness dies down, I'm going to go and check it out. Becky, I'm with you on Doom, on Wolfenstein, and that's it. Do you know that I have never played Zelda? I know, Kitty. I have never played Zelda, ever. My son has it, but I have never played. Kevin Shea, Scrambler. I remember Scrambler. Listen, now you wonder why I never dated, because not only am I completely easily distracted, but I spend a lot of time in arcades alone with quarters. Brian Donovan, brother, I love you, man. From the old WDW Radio, the Disney World Trivia Forum days, you had Kicks. I still like Kicks. I like the challenge of sort of making those boxes. It's a very interesting strategy action game. Lisa loves Shrinky Dinks. I did not have an easy bake oven. I did have Light Bright, but I did not have the artistic ability to make anything creative with it. So, I know. Stop yelling about me. I have never played Legend of Zelda. But if you've never played Spider-Man for the PS4 and PS5, if you can get your hands on one of them, it's crazy. Caveman games, creepy crawlers. Oh God! Now you guys really want me to. Now I really want to do this retro podcast. I actually I had, at least according to one magazine, at one point I had the world record on Zaxxon, and I remember when I saw it in this like nerdy. When I saw my name in this like nerdy video game magazine, I thought it was the pinnacle of anything I could ever achieve in my life. I'm like, this is going to... I felt like Steve Martin in The Jerk. Great things are going to happen to me now. Like, girls are going to see this and they're going to want to date. I still carry that around. Like, anybody? No? I was world champ Zach Son? Whatever. I went to school with a guy whose mom, Cat, you can't dig yourself out, man. Just calm down. Creepy crawlies. I remember you used to mix them up and then you poured them in the thing and then you had to bake them. Oregon Trail. I never played Battletoads. Never played that either. Crystal Steers. Do you know who? Listen, top 3 things I love from Canada in no particular order: poutine, Crystal Steers. I almost said Pamela Anderson, but that would have been weird. William Shatner. Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds. Poutine, Crystal Steers, poutine. No, poutine's got to be first. Poutine, Crystal Steers, and it's a tie between William Shatner and Ryan Reynolds and Pam Anderson. Okay, very distracted. We need to move forward because otherwise we're going to be here all night long. We have talked about this past week's show. Let's talk about this past week's homework in this week's Disney Plus pick of the week. You had homework last week. We talked about the Muppet Christmas Carol. And, we didn't. Did we not? We did not. Last week, that was your homework. Muppet Christmas Carol was your homework last week. I hope that you did it. There's my cat's butt. Kitty, you're facing the wrong way. Where are you going? It's so unprofessional. So unprofessional. I know we were joking around it a little bit before we got started tonight in terms of, did you do homework? Where does Muppet Christmas Carol fit? And what do you think of who gave the most dramatic performance in Muppet Christmas Carol? Who do you think stole the show? First of all, I think Michael Caine gave an incredible look. It's basically it's a one-man performance, right? You're playing against puppets. I understand that they're characters, but he carries that entire movie by himself. The only other time I've ever seen somebody do that really well was Tom Hanks in Castaway. But the old style buddy narration comedic duo of Rizzo the Rat and Gonzo the Great was just wonderful. Light the lamp, not the rat. Light the lamp, not the rat. And so many great lines. Really, really, really makes this one that I think not only reminds me of my childhood, but I think very much, and it's very difficult to do in this day and age, I think Muppet Christmas Carol stands the test of time. Right, that's one of the beautiful things about Muppets that I think they've always done well is that the humor that they put in there is timeless. It's timely and timeless. So there's nothing there that fails or falls short because of when it was actually made. Although you might see that in some of the other holiday Christmas stuff, even some of the other holiday Christmas movies, I think. They have the feeling of being old because of when they made. Christmas Story is not a lot of people's favorites because it's obviously not just a very period piece, but some of the things sort of fall flat for certain audience. So reminds me of when I hang out with Lou. I think that's an insult. I'm not so sure. Victoria, very insightful. It was very, very intentional. He actually made you feel like he wanted to be there, and he gave 110% in his performance. My only criticism of Muppet Christmas Carol is the Ghost of Christmas Past. That fairy is a little creepy. She's not sweet and Muppet-like. Now, obviously, the Ghost of Christmas Future also, there's a dark, ominous tone to him, but it's supposed to be. I thought I liked Carol Kane better as the Ghost of Christmas Past in Scrooge than I did the creepy little pixie fairy thing, but that's just me picking nits just for the sake of doing it. Jeff C. says, I agree they are timeless for my riff project. I don't know what riff is, but that's fine. I wrote to Kermit and Olivia Newton-John. So, well, did you get answers from any of them? Because I'm still waiting for Lisa Welchel from The Facts of Life and the Mouseketeers at Walt Disney World to write me back, because I wrote her like 8 times. Every Christmas Carol version of The Ghost of Christmas Past is creepy, and I understand that, but for a Muppet-based show, there was something that was a little bit, I don't want to say scary about her, but like Statler and Waldorf, right? In terms of being Marley and Marley. Now you're singing that song in your head, we're Marley and Marley. They weren't scary, but were still, sort of these crotchety old ghosts. So again, me just sort of picking nits for the sake of picking nits. So reading is fundamental. They both sent you you have a photo from Olivia Newton-John? Anywho, I'm, again, way distracted. Where does Muppet Christmas Carol sit on your list of all-time favorite movies? Is it a watch every year? Do you watch it more than once? Is it in your top 5? Is it in your top 3? Is it your number 1? Muppet Christmas Carol, it could sort of, if I had to sit down and say, what is my all-time number 1, you want to think about things like Miracle on 30, again, depending on, it's a generational thing. Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, certainly for many reasons could claim that top spot. For a new generation, Elf is their Christmas movie. And I get it. The first time I saw Elf, I was like, this is goofy. And now I've come to love Elf. And I laugh, and there's parts of it that make me get a little weepy. Not just, the father and son relationship, but even just his relationship with Jovi. And oh, by the way, if you have not seen the Christmas movies that made us on Netflix, the first episode is about the making of Elf, and just what a warm and cuddly person James Caan is. So I think he forgets that he's not Sonny Corleone. But anyway, Christmas with the Cranks is funnier than I think people give it credit for. The thought of elves gives me a sad. I did mention Christmas. So I had Christmas Story on my list. So Derek says it's number 2 behind Christmas Vacation, which I have not watched yet this year. I think that's going to be a this week or a Christmas Eve possible movie night. So we'll say. Jason Will, 6-inch ribbon curls. 6 inches. Do you know Wanda Sykes was supposed to have that role, and she backed out literally at the last minute? And if you look at his name tag, it says Wanda. So, and I actually knew that before I watched the movies that made us, but they talk about it there. And I actually loved him. The first time I ever saw him in anything was in Couples Retreat, which is one of those movies that every time it's on, I have to keep watching it. But anyway, the Santa Claus, Lindsay, too. I actually like not 1, not 2, but all 3 of the Santa Claus movies. Again, Santa Claus 2 has a connection to Lost, as does Santa Claus 3. Martin Short, which has a connection to our Cameos in Walt Disney World show, also takes the sort of steals the show, as well as, although quick love over to and Margaret, who sings in Santa Claus 3, which I'm not sure if she asked for, they wanted her to do, but I love that because I remember seeing her back when I was a kid. So Mark Challoner says number 1 has to be It's a Wonderful Life. George C. Scott Patton as Ebenezer Scrooge is one I have not seen in years. Fred Abley from GetMeCoding.com. If your kid wants to learn how to code, go send him to Mr. Fred. He will teach him how to do it. It's a Christmas miracle. Die Hard. Listen, we talked about how what is a Christmas movie and what is not. Maggie watched all 3 Santa Claus movies on Sunday. We've sort of had them on throughout this season. I watched Santa Claus 3. I will tell you, because clearly I'm a crier. When in Santa Claus 2, Tim Allen, when Scott Calvert, Santa Claus, goes to the school and all the teachers are there having their incredibly depressing Christmas party. And he starts pulling, I'm doing it again with the retro stuff. When he starts pulling out those toys, those retro toys, and he gives, I was going to call her character from Lost, but when he gives, I don't remember what her real name is, when he gives the principal her baby doll, and she starts to cry, choked up like there's nobody's business. Chuck does an amazing Die Hard Christmas episode. Definitely a Christmas movie. And I talked about it last week, what is and what is not a Christmas movie. So, but anyway, let's move. Look, it's time to move forward. We've watched Muppet Christmas Carol. We need to figure out what our Disney Plus pick of the week is going to be this week. And I thought long and hard about this. And I looked at the very extensive selections of Christmas and holiday themed movies on Disney Plus. There are some new ones, and there are some that, go Miracle on 34th Street. And I said, I need to find something that I think will really appeal to the widest audience, will really instill that warm, loving Christmas spirit. And so obviously, you know what my choice has to be for this week's Disney Plus Pick of the Week Holiday Edition. It is, of course, Home Alone 3. Which, let's be serious, none of us has ever seen. Who is that kid, and what is that face? And if that kid is your son, then I apologize. It's not going to be Home Alone 3. Nobody has seen it. I will not put you through it. How do you not somehow bribe Macaulay Culkin to come back and do a third? This should be called Home Alone 3, The Money Grab. Of course it's not Home Alone 3. It is not Home Alone 3. Instead, it's A Christmas Carol. I think somebody even mentioned seeing A Christmas Carol, not the George C. Scott version, but we're going to sort of go a little bit more modern. Now, Becky, no, seriously, it's not. We're going to go the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, which I think is a modern classic for a lot of people. It is, look, and I know we've sort of just watched, we've already seen A Christmas Carol. We've seen the Muppet Christmas Carol, but that's the beauty of the story that makes it so incredibly timeless is you can watch different retellings of the story, and even though you sort of know exactly what's going to happen next, the way it is told, the way it's performed, and Jim Carrey, moving from the goofy comedic guy in Living Color, and what was his name? Fireman Dan, whatever, gives a great dramatic performance with some great mocap here. So Darlene and I almost picked Noel. I know my kids were just watching Noel last night. I have not seen it yet. So I almost put it on just so I could force myself to see it. But instead, we are going to go with The Christmas Carol for next week. So it's one you should watch anyway, even if you've never seen it before. Fire Marshal Bill. There you go. So a lot of good stuff came out of In Living Color. Jim Carrey, although he's gotten wacky in his later years, but that's beside the point. So it's Fire Marshal Bill. So I have not seen the Jim Carrey version in a number of years. I'm looking forward to checking it out this weekend. So let's keep the Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus, PS5 hunting spirit going. And let's move on from our Disney Plus pick of the week to this week's. I wasn't ready, obviously. Top 5. Each week, I share a little bit of the best from the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars universe. This week, I wanted to, with the holidays obviously being here. Didn't want to do that. I want to do that. Spoiler alert. With the holidays being here, we've been talking about stuff that we could watch on TV. And I know so many of you probably unfortunately had to cancel or postpone your trip to Walt Disney World in 2020. And for those who have even still been thinking about, do we come during Christmas. Look, I know that Christmas is 10 days away, but there's still a lot of things to do, whether you are local or if you're even considering planning a quick, couple of day trip before the holidays, you can do it. So this week, I wanted to share with you my top 5 ways to celebrate the holidays at Walt Disney World in 2020. And Chauncey, thankfully, I do remember what it was like before Disney Plus, and it's why I appreciate it so very much. So these are ways to celebrate the holidays at Walt Disney World in 2020 because things are a lot different, but I think there's actually lemonade to be made here. Not frozen lemonade, because it's Florida, but some lemonade to be made because there are some new offerings this year and some repeat offerings that, although Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is not here, there's a lot of wonderful ways to celebrate. And I'm going to quickly go through my top 5 and then my 77 honorable mentions. And of course, you can't celebrate the holidays without the recent addition of the Jingle Cruise at the Jungle Cruise in Magic Kingdom. Even though, your boats are now physically distanced with plexiglass and etc., the corny, campy Jingle Cruise is still a must-do now, especially during weekdays with crowds being as light as they are. Did I say 10 days? All right, 9 days. I'm talking about Boxing Day. Right? Boxing Day is a big holiday for me too. So 10 days. So the Jingle Cruise is number 5. It's a must-do, and there's a huge repeatability factor because even like the Jungle Cruise, your skipper can very much make or break or determine your Jingle Cruise experience. Number 4, the Christmas Tree Stroll in Disney Springs. So this year, instead of the Christmas Tree Trail, which was at the Once Upon a Toy Earl of Sandwich side, where there was this sort of walking trail with the trees, now the trees are spread out throughout Disney Springs, which again, the advantage is it's not crowded. You don't have to wait in a line. You can sort of just take it on your own. And there's almost a little bit of a scavenger hunt aspect to it. I've been down to Springs a number of times since they have been there. So I like the fact that there's not the pressure of having to line up for something and wait. There's still snow in Springs. There's a lot of holiday entertainment. And I think now it gives you the opportunity to enjoy even more that Springs has to offer. And I'm not just talking about the boathouse, but I'm also talking about the boathouse. Number 3, I could have put this at number 1. Carol Stein and Joyful in World Showplace. So inside World Showplace are not just a number of marketplace kiosks as part of the holiday festival this year, but Carol Stein, who was and will always be the hat lady inside the Rose and Crown pub, she has a stage all the way in the back, all to herself, where she plays just incredible holiday music. The woman is gifted. She's beyond talented. She is gifted, and she shares her gift. I was there the other day, and I spent so much time, and here's a little bit of a pro tip. So when you walk into World Showplace and sample the marketplaces, there are high top tables with no chairs, except if you walk in the back by the grand piano stage where Carol plays throughout the day, there's tables and chairs. You can grab your food, you can sit down, you can relax a little bit. As long as you're actively eating and drinking, you can take your mask off in an air-conditioned or warmer environment inside. And she's a beautiful person. She's an incredible pianist, and I love her to death. And when she's done with her sets, she always comes down and talks to guests. And I love her. So you can find Carol. She's on Facebook. She's been doing, throughout the pandemic, live concerts throughout. Also there is Joyful. And if you've never seen the Joyful Gospel Choir, they are just spectacular, and their arrangements and performances of modern and traditional Christmas classics is beautiful. And the fact that you don't need to line up. Look, I'm certainly sad that Candlelight is not there, but the fact that you don't need to queue up and spend a great deal of time to watch a holiday performance, and you can see Joyful. So Joyful has a number of different sets throughout the day too, and you'll get different songs for different sets, much like Carol. And I do know that there's other pianists as well, and I'm only calling Carol out because I know her personally, and I like her for a lot of different reasons. But Carol Stein is meant to be all of the pianists there, but she is one that I know, and I like her as a person, and additionally and as a cast member. So coming in at number 2 are the Christmas character cavalcades. Now these take place in Magic Kingdom, and what I like about these is that there are a number of different ones throughout the days. So there's Goofy's Scrumptious Cavalcade, Santa's Christmas Cavalcade, Santa, I know him, and Mickey's Holiday Cavalcade. Now these are in addition to the regular Royal Princess Processional Cavalcade and the Holiday Trolley Show and the Main Street Philharmonic featuring the toy soldiers. So basically what you're getting here, really what you are getting with the Christmas cavalcades in Magic Kingdom, is you're pretty much getting half of the parade from Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And again, you're not queuing up and blocking out your space and taking up a period of time. They are these surprise and delight things that happen throughout the day. You don't have to wait in a specific area. Like, as they come, I think it's a more intimate experience too, because although there's no face-to-face handshake and hug character interactions right now, as these cavalcades go by, because everybody is so spread out, not just on the route, but throughout the day, because they happen throughout the day, you feel like you're making a more personal, intimate connection with the characters and Santa, because they go slow and they're able to sort of scan the audience and sort of feel like they're talking to you. So I love the character cavalcades. I love the ones that were here for Halloween. I love the ones that are here throughout the day, both at Magic Kingdom as well as at Epcot. There's also at Hollywood Studios, and the ones that take place on the river at Animal Kingdom. But the Christmas ones really, really are nice. Darlene says the cavalcades are magical. The Dapper Dans are amazing. Mike, I agree. They have been one of the good things that has come out of 2020. Again, Lemonade from Lemons, Mark Williams says, I think they're better than the big parades. And I think that they will stay around, Becky Mankin. I think that these sort of mini parades are going to be here possibly beyond the pandemic. And again, the definition of what the pandemic is and when it starts and stops is but I do like these a lot. And my number one, this is going to come as no surprise to anybody who knows me, my number one way to celebrate the holidays at Walt Disney World in 2020 is just to stuff your face as you walk around the Taste of the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, which I did this past week. It is an abbreviated version of the holidays around the world. There are no holiday storytellers, but again, there is that holiday feel. There's great food to be had. Look, again, the crowds are smaller than they normally would be, certainly for this time of year. I was there on Monday. I didn't wait more than 2 or 3 people in front of me for any of the marketplaces, which would not normally be happening. Again, I'm going to choose the good anywhere. So, yes, weekends, Christmas is going to be crowded to the, obviously the 35% limited capacity, but it has just been a delight being able to go to the parks and enjoy the festival any day of the week, even with sort of the hours being a little wonky, sometimes Epcot not opening until noon during the week. But I love the smaller festival because I like to eat everything, and it gives me an opportunity to try almost them all. And there's some really good stuff this year. And I don't just mean Japan, which I love every year. But of course, hi, I'm Lou Mongello. There has to be honorable mentions, and there's a lot, because there's still a lot to do during the Christmas season. So call Mousefan Travel, get down here, because there's lots of fun stuff to be had. So honorable mentions includes the Cinderella Castle holiday projections. Again, this is not a show that you queue up for, but when Magic Kingdom is open after dark, they do have these ongoing and rotating, beautifully brilliant holiday projections. I call it the Resort Christmas Tree Trek because I just made that name up as I was trying to figure out what to call it. There may not be gingerbread houses. There may not be all the decorations, but you can sort of still go and visit the different holiday trees at the different resorts. And then while you're there, maybe get a little nosh. The Tree of Life Awakening show is a holiday-themed one. Again, when Disney's Animal Kingdom is open at night, which it has been quite often. The Sunset Seasons Greetings on Sunset Boulevard, again, is not sort of this wait and queue up show, but are these ongoing projections over on the Hollywood Tower Hotel, which includes these sort of vignettes from Mickey's Christmas Carol, Muppets, Toy Story, Olaf, and Prep and Landing. Prep and Landing did not make my list, but I know it's a big holiday favorite. And look, I say rest in peace, Fort Wilderness. It's somewhat tongue-in-cheek. As I said earlier, tonight, that's where we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be at Fort Wilderness tonight in a golf cart, going to see the holiday decorations. Unfortunately, and I think hopefully it's a temporary thing, you do need to be staying at Fort Wilderness. A guest, I just was not able to make that happen for tonight. I don't know that I could do it next week either. I can't sort of justify, renting a cabin just so I can rent a golf cart. But if you're staying at Fort Wilderness next week and want to add me to your reservation, we'll grab a golf cart and we'll drive around. Otherwise, we'll do a little, a pre-holiday Christmas party together next week, all of us. So that's my list. Let me know what you think is your number one way to celebrate the holidays at Walt Disney World in 2020. Yes, Becky, I know there was a lot of things that we were supposed to do this year, but that's okay. Look, everything that we lost this year is going to make next year better. It's going to taste sweeter. And I don't mean literally the food's going to taste sweeter. I mean, when you miss something, it tastes better. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is when these things come back, like literally and figuratively embracing them. And by embracing them, I mean embracing you. Like, Meat of the Month, I'm sad, man. Like, I am sad every month. We have lost, 75% of the year in Meat of the Month, forgetting events and cruises. And look, there was something that, was planned for this past weekend, and I literally had to pull it off. I remember deleting it off my calendar, in terms of a WDW radio event. But when we do get those things back and we start cruising again, we start meeting in Walt Disney World again, when February 6th comes and maybe you're here for something that we're going to do at Walt Disney World, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and then the world starts spinning again, hopefully sooner rather than later. I am anxious to get back to those events one more time. So, Aaron, I agree. Be thankful for what we have, the joy we felt when the parks opened. I still think about when the springs reopened. I think about being in Magic Kingdom the night that it closed and then the day that it opened, and how I felt both times. And I will tell you, every time I walk onto property again, I still feel that. I still feel that sense of gratitude. I look past the masks. I look past the plexiglass. I look past all the other things. And I feel the sense of gratitude to Disney for the opportunity, for the gift that you give me by allowing me to be there and to share it with you, for the cast members that are there every single day, smiling through their eyes and through their masks. And Crystal Steer says, heartbreaking hugs. We can do that thing next year as a group, Lou. I'm in. Hugs are coming back in a big, big way. Like, I am ready. So that first meet of the month, whenever that's going to be, that's going to be an emotional thing for me. So, and Kevin Shea, you're right. The Give Kids a World Village Lights, not Disney, but a blessing, a must see. It's why I went live from there a couple of weeks ago. If you are down in the Orlando area, please, please, please go and check it out. Not just for the beauty and the benefit of the lights, but so that you can learn a little bit more about what Give Kids the World Village does, and just what a really remarkable and special place and special people they are over there. And for anybody who has ever donated to our Dream Team project, who has won an auction, who has joined the running team, your contributions help make those wishes happen. Everybody who donated to the fundraising thing when my mom passed, that Lisa had started, that $60,000, those kids are going to get to go and enjoy the benefits of places like Give Kids the World. So thank you for that. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I feel sorry for the first person I'm going to hug. It's going to be long and awkward. Becky Menken, I don't normally like to ask for hugs from you, but bring it in, sister. Like, we need that hug for reasons that the rest of the world does not need to know, but I got you, sister. So get ready. And I'm cool with the long, awkward hug. I mean, don't make it creepy, but you know what I mean. So there you go. Kevin Slade, no, not just the first. All my hugs are going to be incredibly long and probably emotional. So, let's see. What else did I miss tonight? What else did I miss? Let's see. Let's see. What else? Whoops. Nope, not 20 questions. We're not doing 20 questions. We're going to do... I did mention saving the date for February 6th, 2021. I'll have some additional details to share coming soon. If you are coming from out of state, I will tell you that February 6th is going to take place, once it's all locked in, at Walt Disney World. So you can reach out to your Mouse Fan travel, vacation planning person. I don't know what Becky calls them now, but they will be able to help you if you want to make accommodations for the 6th. It does not matter where you stay. It does not matter where you stay. So that has nothing to do with anything. Also, don't forget, just very quickly, a reminder, speaking of friends of the show, tomorrow night, go and join our friends over at After Hours. Jason, Colin, and Carlos are going to continue with their Christmas special, episode 30. What? How's it been going on? Just check them out at After Hours. Do a search on Facebook for them. A lot of things that are on the board, that are in the mind, and planes that are in flight for next year. And as we turn the corner and as we turn the page, I know how difficult this year has been for everyone, and for a lot of different reasons. And I think, again, there's opportunity in adversity. I would love to help you. So right now I am forming new mastermind groups that are going to launch in January after the first of the year. Whether you are just incubating an idea, if you're starting to want to build a brand, build a business, or if you've been doing it for a while and need to sort of move the needle and sort of build that brand and business into something that's more than a hobby, we have weekly mastermind calls limited to just 6 people every Tuesday night. I'm going to form 2 groups this year. We already have a few people in each of the groups. If you are interested, you can go to LouMongello.com/coaching. You can find out more how I can help you. If the weekly group isn't necessarily for you, but you want me to try and help you turn what you love into what you do, you can just visit LouMongello.com. I do one-on-one events and one-on-one events. Events will come back, but I do one-on-one virtual coaching as well. Hopefully, the mastermind retreat and the mastermind weekend will be back next year, possibly late spring, possibly late spring. Let's see how the next couple of months go, and then we'll be getting back to the retreat and the weekends. But again, we have time, we have opportunity. I would love to try and help you the same way that you have helped me. I'd like to try and return the favor to you. If there's a way that you think that you have a suggestion to make WDW Radio better, you can go to our suggestion box. Tell me what you think we can do to improve the site. If you have a show idea, you can go there. If you want to write for the blog, we're in the process of bringing on some new writers for the blog for the beginning of the year. So you can go to the suggestion box there, and I can send you a link to a form that you can fill out. If you are not a member of the clubhouse, please be part of the community and the conversation. More importantly, please go and invite a friend to be part. The community is at the core of everything that I do, and you are the most important part of that. I've talked about how, and you've even seen, things are starting to get a little bit simpler back here in terms of what what the home studio set is going to look like, and I continue to have some really unique items from my personal collection on eBay. There's an Armani Peter Pan statue. There's there's items that start as little as $1, and then I can tell you that right after the first of the year, if you are a Star Wars fan, if you are a collectibles fan from the 70s and 80s, I've got some really, really cool stuff. Mint, on card, unpunched. If you're an action figure collector, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those are coming. Tomomi is here. Oh my gosh. Tomomi, if you are coming to the States, please, please, please reach out to me. I will give you a physically distanced or physically non-distanced hug. I would love to see you again. You were one of my favorite parts of my trip to Japan, and I am not kidding. You made that trip as special as it was, and I literally, I kid you not, well, nobody cares. I have a box of stuff that I brought back from Japan that I literally just pulled out of my closet, that I'm taking out for a variety of reasons that really have made me think a lot about it. And I've been just watching videos and just wishing I could get back to Japan really, really, really soon. And if you want to help the show and get exclusive rewards every month, including some new rewards that I'm going to be announcing. I tried to do it in October. Life got in the way. But at the beginning of the year, there'll be new rewards at different levels from the WDW Radio Nation, starting as little as $1 a month. It's a great way for you to help the show and get some different benefits every month. And don't forget that a portion of your contribution, which is completely optional, but it does go to our Dream Team project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. What else? What am I missing? I don't even know. Probably a lot of stuff, but it doesn't matter. If you ask me, somebody asks me like, well, why do you do the live show every what do you get out of it every Wednesday night? This was a quote unquote business conversation that I had with somebody not too long ago, and they couldn't understand I was literally being asked the question, well, how much money do you make from doing a live show? And I'm like, that's not it. Like, you're missing it. You missed the point of doing the live. And the reason why I've been doing it with you for more than 13, we're coming on 14 years of doing weekly live video. That's craziness. The only thing crazier is coming up on 16 years of podcasting. That's nuts. I was giving an interview last week, and I said that I started the show in 2005. He goes, oh, you mean 2015? I'm like, no, dude, I mean 2005. Like, I'm not kidding. It's been that long. Same thing for the live video, but the podcast is the core and the nucleus of what I do, but man, this is my favorite part because I love not just putting out a show and then waiting for their turn. I love this real-time, completely authentic and genuine interactions that we have together. I love when mistakes happen. I love when the cat gets stuck in here and all kinds of things happen because it's real. And I feel like, and I want you to feel like I'm inviting you into my home. I'm inviting you into my family because that's exactly how I look at you. And I hope that you feel the same way. And if there is some way that I can help you, please reach out to me and let me know. If you want to help me, if you want to help the community, please, 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 you know what I'm going to ask you to do? Please help to spread the word. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave a review. Tell a friend. Tonight, as soon as we're done, right? We're wrapping things up right now. Do me a favor. Share out this week's episode. Share out a link to Apple Podcasts or to the website and tell a friend. And more importantly, tell a friend why they should listen and why they should subscribe. And if you can, take a second to go rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. Huge, huge help. And finally, and most importantly, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love and appreciate you. We're going to do a show next week right before Christmas. I know it's a crazy time. I promise it'll be a shorter show so you can get to spend time with your family, bake your Christmas cookies, your potato latkes, whatever it is, your matzo ball soup. Listen, I think I must be part Jewish because I love Hanukkah for all the food. But yeah, I appreciate you and I love you, and your presence is the best present. I know that's like lame, but it's true. The fact that you're here is the greatest gift that I could ask for. And all I ask that you do in return is to choose the good. find the good in everything that you do. Positivity is contagious, and I promise that if you choose the good and you be the good, you will positively impact the life of somebody else, and that will have a ripple effect on other people going forward. So thank you. If you are celebrating Hanukkah this week, Kwanzaa, getting ready for Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate, even just the season, I hope that it is your happiest time and that you are surrounded physically or virtually by the people that you love and that love you in return. If you're in the Northeast, stay inside, stay safe, eat well. Uber Eats and DoorDash is your friend. I love and appreciate you. Until next time, see you.